Okay, we are back now with Jennie and Bergie in the background and champagne and I don't know, a new year, a new move for Folkwise, a new move for Jennie. Let's get into it.
Aww. Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, everybody! If you're whatever beverage you have next to you, drink. Wonderful. Cheers. Yes. Is that what you say? Is cheers your folk thing that you say, or do you say something else usually?
I say cheers.
You say cheers. My family grew up saying skol. Skol.
My family grew up saying chin chin.
Chin chin.
Huh.
No, cheers to 23 months. Oh,
Thanks,
wow.
James.
23 months. It's almost 2 years. Thank you, chin chin.
Oh my gosh, I feel like a person who just had a baby 23 months ago and we're still talking in months. Anyway. 23 months, subscriber! Just say it's 2 years. My god. Okay, anyway.
Wait, that's when you guys started? 2 years ago?
We started
months ago, yeah.
Streaming on this channel.
Yeah, Jennie, we talked about this at the top of the show before you got on, but
before you got on.
2-year anniversary and our second annual Wisey Awards show is going to be first week of February.
Oh, well, congratulations, guys.
Thank
you.
Awesome.
And when we clip out this YouTube video, this will be at the front. So the Wisey Awards, February 1st. Daisy, Photoshop fireworks in.
It'll be good, yes.
A still image of fireworks.
I got it. Got this. So we do Wisey Awards as we've been doing this for 2 years. So you are helping us ring in the new year this year with Fallout, as we just played Fallout 76, West Virginia, joined by the state folklorist of West Virginia, Jennie Williams. Are you ready for your interview?
Bring it on.
All right, Dom, would you like to do the official?
Burger's not.
Oh, Burger's not. Burger's ready to do something else.
Yeah, he's ready to go.
Dom, are you ready to do the honors for the formal entrance into the interview that we do every week?
Hi, Jennie, and everyone else out there in chat, but specifically Jennie. You see me, you see Daisy, you hear us, you see us hosting the show every week, and you might think, wow, Dom and Daisy write all these questions ourselves, and we do not, because we have the help of intrepid, diligent, and spontaneous, as the third adjective, the secret third adjective, Folkwise interview sleuths. Who help us write these questions every week, who do the hard lifting to make us look smart and you look cool. And Jennie, chat, voting members of the Achatemy, if there's any question that you think is funny or makes you go, wow, never thought about that like that, that's a good question. Don't thank us, thank the sleuths.
Ooh.
I know they work hard, because I work hard to keep my Twitter sparse.
Oh my gosh, James Dalton Bell and Starps have a very good idea. Number one is we need a custom command. We can prompt statements in the chat from people by typing in a phrase, and then it will prompt another phrase that relates to the inside joke.
Thank you, sleuths. Maybe it just thank you, sleuths.
Yeah, maybe it just says thank you, sleuths. I can make that after the interview at some point, and then
that'd be good.
They are also demanding an emote, which is if you subscribe to our channel, you get a bunch of different emotes. One of our most popular ones, probably the most popular one, is a ladder, which is kind of on our show, congrats clapping,
it
you can do it.
Applause.
Yeah, it stands in for applause.
Ladders for right now, just test them.
Just test them out, folks. Test them out. It's pretty good. We have a couple different ones. We've got a Thyla hype. We've got other ones, but yeah, Starps suggests that we do a sloth with a monocle to be the sleuth. It's kind of a joke there. That could be really cute. Monocle.
We've also had a chatter talk about beloved Bayonetta character with a magnifying glass. Yeah. Beloved character Bayonetta, I should say.
Bayonetta with a magnifying glass. That would be good. That would also be good. Okay. Enough silliness, chat. This is time for the formal part of the interview. Jennie, are you ready for your first question?
I gotta stretch out my neck like Dom just
Well,
rolling the shoulders.
Maybe after you hear this one, you'll feel a little bit oh, I didn't need to do it. We'll see.
Okay.
In your fieldwork with porch musicians, how did the porch operate as both a private property and a public stage?
Oh, that's so sweet to think of it that way. Okay.
Thank you,
well, That's sweet. My dissertation research was, I focused in this community, most like kind of like Paoli, but also Orange County, Indiana. So like very rural, South Central Indiana. And I got to know this group of people. I think 2018 is when I started going down to play music with them. Mostly retired folk who are just like, may or may not have grown up in the area, but what they do together is play music. And so my like research year, like after you finish your qualifying exams, after once you have that opportunity to really devote yourself just to focusing on the topic that you want to write about, that fell on 2020 for me. And so thankfully I knew
Great.
these people. I made some really close friendships just to begin. Real drag that it had to be that year, because it 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 confused a lot of things I was thinking about, and then it also just, it was very just complicated emotionally. And so what I ended up doing, I like took all of September, really, the best time of year that, people were outdoors, it felt comfortable enough. And I went down and I recorded the musicians who would normally go to these jams in their homes, but like on their porches in most cases, right? Like outdoors, safe. I wore my mask, and we did an hour-long interview with each one. I did an hour-long interview with each person, and then I asked them to perform a song for me that they would normally play in that group, because one of the special things I find about these like jams, these informal jams where people get together every week, they get together and play whatever kind of songs that like make them happy. A lot of the times that's songs that they grew up with, or it's just like though it's mostly older folks who played in these groups, like there were a couple younger people or from different generations who would play with them. And so it was just a really cool space for sharing, music and knowledge, and kind of shared appreciation, and enjoying playing music with each other, enjoying learning what each person could bring to the group too. Not only like, what repertoire people brought, what kind of, musicianship they brought, what instrumentation they brought, what kind of harmony that they brought, to the group that people can associate and with each person and really enjoy each time they play. So okay, going back to what you asked. So during 2020, my really only option was to record during that time frame at their homes alone, and performing whatever song it might be that they would bring to these jams. And it turned into a really beautiful thing where I ended up with a lot of recordings of, just beautiful like outdoor spaces. And yeah, it was a really like beautiful, enjoyable thing at the end of it. And I think that the musicians who let me record their songs were really happy, to see that these songs were recorded, and it felt like a way of being together, even though they couldn't be together at that time. It was a scary time. You guys remember 2020? Real
Oh
scary
yeah.
time. Real
Yeah.
concerning time.
Absolutely. And like I guess in the behind the scenes, like a follow up to that, at least what I was thinking and kind of what the group was thinking, is that this interesting like private property, public space changes depending on like who is in it and who is the audience. So we were wondering how this may have changed, or how your perspective of that like space or the construction of that space changed as a field worker and documentarian and an audience member behind the camera, because you were kind of you're recording and documenting them perform in what maybe wouldn't necessarily be a recorded space, but also kind of private, kind of not. What do you think about that as like a filmmaker or a documentarian?
Well, I think that, oh gosh, I'm really thankful for the time that I had with the musicians before the pandemic, honestly, because that already kind of set me up with this like built trust as a field worker, documentarian, but also friend and fellow musician. And
right. Yeah.
So that helped a lot. So when I went to people's homes, half the time they're like, "Oh, would you like to come? Can I make you some food?" It was
Yeah.
2020. We weren't doing that, you know? So
Yeah,
that
right.
was really tricky. So
Yeah, and that's really hard
but, you
as
know, every time I because I cared about each of them and because it was really important that I did go to them because also at the time we were getting weird mixed signals about what kind of research we were
yeah.
allowed to do,
Yep.
and um, I remember at IU at least that like they had really like strict restrictions about like bringing people to campus to do
Hmm.
research, right? Like there was some like restrictions about that, but when it came to like our specific type of field work we do as folklorists and ethnomusicologists, it wasn't there wasn't a whole lot of like structure there. And so I just knew that I had to do what I had to do in that time. And I
Yeah.
knew that like everyone wanted it too. Like people
Hmm.
cared. And um, so it felt really important to be able to make that happen. And, like I hadn't visited the homes of these musicians before the pandemic in a lot of cases for some of them. And so to go to their homes, and see where they lived and like how they kind of decorated their spaces or, what their gardens looked like or like it was just like it was a more, I don't know, it was an even more holistic way of kind of getting to know that person too.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, learn a little bit about how they adapted creatively, as well. Like some people put down music altogether or,
Hmm.
um, took up, gardening or
Yeah.
um, painting or something different that they didn't have to do, because for a lot of the musicians, like the fun of it is when you get to play with other people. That's where you learn new songs. That's where you get to like kind of, practice your memory even like of singing these songs. And if you
Yeah.
don't have an excuse to play with people, then you will forget it. Muscle memory will be gone.
From the outside
Yeah.
looking in, I know that you and Dom crossed paths in grad school, but like I've, never been to grad school with you, and just viewing this from like a total research standpoint. You're kind of on the cutting edge of what began to get really popular in 2020 as a folk practice of kind of neighborhood outdoor congressions, like walking around from house to house. Like usually we think, oh, that's only Halloween. But kind of this like reinvigoration of the porch life or of neighborhood life, I think kind of upticked, and it seems like your research was right at the crosshairs of that, and that should be really appreciated, and seen as like
That's really
totally
interesting.
cool. Yeah, like looking back now, that's what I see in some of this kind of space related conversation. I know a lot of your research is about music specifically and music communities, but another layer is this kind of like, I don't know, this engaging with the public but not really, and how do we redefine what is meeting space when we can't meet inside or indoors of a place, which is really cool.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah,
yeah.
there was another during that time. Okay, so I frequented like before the pandemic, I frequented like a deli in Paoli, a
Ooh.
bunch of, like libraries would hold music.
Mm-hmm.
There were these farmers market that, they hosted a couple different farmers market locations where music would happen. And so I went to a few different places and it would be a bunch of the same people, more or less. Some
Mm-hmm.
people just had their preferred jam spaces, the types of music that would be played at the different spaces or who would go. Like there was just like a lot of different options of jams that you could attend. Um, and so, oh, what was I going to say about that?
Well, the
Yeah.
community, the outdoor community connection, or like kind of their spaces
Oh,
existed, but they didn't happen at
yeah.
the house. Right, they happened
Right.
somewhere else.
Okay.
Yeah.
So the way that a bunch of people like adapted, or at least a handful of musicians, there's this like um, Spring Mill State Park is in Mitchell, Indiana, which is nearby, like kind of between Bedford and Bloomington. And I would go down and play music by this creek through the state park that a handful of those musicians would play at. But we would stay outside, we would have a lot of separation, and that's kind of like that was just one form of adapting to this new reality that we all had to live in, and try to make the most of it, because just for so many people, like music really was like what they like looked forward to. And yeah, it was heartbreaking at the time. It was heartbreaking to hear how people were kind of thinking about it, either hanging up their guitars on the wall for good or whatever, just because the fun of it is gone. Yeah It's not like that so much anymore, but I do feel like
there was a moment that was really
some change,
scary about what was next, and I think a lot of people made big decisions, and you got to capture a lot of people in the process of making those decisions. And one of the decisions that people made was to play on the porch, or to play at the park or whatever, which is really cool.
Yeah. And some people, said fuck it, and they played together indoors anyway.
Right.
And that was another thing we had to like just have to accept. So.
Yeah. I have another like more formal question about this for you. Did your interest in old time music spark your focus working directly with aging communities? If it did, how? And if it didn't, what did? Does that make sense?
My interest, like what got me into old time music?
Yeah, what got you into old time music, specifically working with aging communities?
That is a good
question. Like, is it a chicken and the egg? Is it you were into old time and then you were like, oh, this group of people? Or was it like the group of people you were with that you were like, oh, I gotta get into this kind of music? Like, what led you down that path of old time music with aging communities specifically?
Okay. Well, I would say that I got into it more so through like country music. So not really old time music, but like, because old time music to me is fiddle tunes,
sure,
instrumental, not so much lyrics, and country music is more like kind of I don't know, it's kind of like a more approachable music to play in a jam, because the chords are more simple or predictable. A lot of people grew up with the popular country songs, like traditional country songs. I'm talking about
maybe
like
slightly less improvisation or something like that.
Yeah, like you could have some music breaks for people to take a solo or something, but it would mostly be like you're playing a song, you've got like a pretty common lick or something that you'd play if that's what you're more interested in. Anyway, so I feel like I've always been kind of good at meeting people of a lot of different ages in music scenes. Even when I was younger in like high school and college, I would go to open mic nights and like meet the older crew there, and they would take an interest and teach me some songs because I was younger and like had some promise, I think. And so I think I've always just like been good at meeting older people and connecting in that way and learning, music that they grew up with. And so in Indiana, well, God, what came first? Well, in Indiana, there was a lot of like opportunity to jam in our department. I mean, there was a lot of musicians in the folk and ethno department, because like when you start grad school, those are the people that you meet first, and you go to the parties and you play whatever songs or try to follow along, whatever. And I was in an all-woman country band for a couple years, which was very fun. Ruth and the Stones. I don't know if you heard of them, but
it's coming up later.
I think we heard of them.
Ruth and the Stones was my reason to dust off the old mandolin that I didn't know how to play.
Yeehaw.
And
awesome.
Figure it out. If I could go back in time and re-record some of that stuff, I would. But yeah, so Ruth and the Stones, I played in that band for a couple years, and then sort of, I don't know, everything kind of like layers and overlaps. But then I I was working for Traditional Arts Indiana, the state folk life program in Indiana, which is based at IU. John Kay is the director. He's a great mentor to many folklorists who are working in the public field, including Dom and myself and Bergamot.
And Bergamot.
Oh
He's
wow,
looking outside.
that's a
point.
boy.
That's a
That's a
pointy
human.
dog right there. That's a pointy
is-
human being right
That
there.
is a bipedal with
Very-
no feathers. I think that's a human.
Bipedal with no feathers.
He's keeping us safe. He's looking out the window.
He's making sure.
What was I talking about? Okay, I was working for Traditional Arts Indiana at the time. I worked there like every summer. Like I really knew that was the kind of work I wanted to do. And one summer, I think it was 2018, we were doing a folk life survey of a few different counties in southern Indiana. And so I was told, hey, Jennie, like there's some good music going on in Orange County. And so that was kind of where I focused my energy that summer and met a bunch of the musicians that I ended up just sticking with, you know, for like these older musicians. And they played all kinds of music. You know, they played, some were fiddlers, some played mandolin, a lot of guitarists, some were dulcimer players. There's a whole like dulcimer society down there. People who love bluegrass music or Southern gospel songs or country music, and some old time, right? Just like I would say the old time scene was actually more focused in Bloomington, but I didn't really tap into it at that time. But I knew a handful of those players too. So I, you know, during the pandemic, when I was playing at the state park, we did, you know, you really depend on who's in the jam spaces and their repertoire and like what kind of songs or tunes that they bring to the circle. So that's what you learn. And so there's a fiddler, Marty Mundy, who, you know, he grew up in that area and he played fiddle and knew tons of tunes with silly names and and so that was kind of, I would more so attribute like my more serious like learning some of the tunes, or at least becoming familiar with old time music, was just like sitting in with those musicians, you know, when we played outside at the park.
That's awesome.
Yeah. And then coming to West Virginia, that prepped me pretty well for knowing, like having a better familiarity with old time. Because there's been a lot of opportunities to meet musicians who do specifically like regional or, you know, old time tunes here. Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
This
legacy.
Oh, look
Okay.
at that. Oh my god,
that was like
No, never.
No.
Don't stop. Don't stop.
Oh my
Don't stop.
God.
It's amazing.
We
More
get
burger.
bits.
More
We
burger.
get bits when you put burger on screen. No, do not stop. Literally. This
Good boy.
It's always a treat for us when the guest kind of like accidentally predicts a question, or at least a subject of the next question. It's like what makes us feel really good.
You have predicted the rest of your interview somehow.
So this is really good.
Thank you for the bits.
Thank you for the bits, Starps. So our next question for you is, how is mentorship important for fostering intergenerational and cross-disciplinary connections in communities? And you already mentioned John Kay as one of your mentors. We also noted Cliff Murphy as being another person. These are people in the folklore world as like, you know, like now they mean something to folklorists, I think. And it's cool that you had a direct line with them. So how is mentorship important for fostering those kinds of cross-generation, cross-disciplinary connections?
I love it. That's such a good question.
Thank you, Sleuth.
Thank you, Sleuths.
You're gonna make me cry. Okay.
That's good. We love when people cry out of joy on our show. Sometimes we cry from sadness. There are some episodes where that happens, but
Played a game about kids with cancer. We all cried there.
We all cried in that one. But it was good.
This is the good kind of crying.
It was good. It was philanthropy. Anyway, this is the good kind of crying. Celebration of people you love. Yes. We love it.
Ugh. Yeah. Well, okay. I want to say I've been very lucky with mentors. You know, like another really like close person in my life is Michelle Stefano. I don't know if you all know her. But
Michelle Stefano, the most Italian, not Italian person in the world. Stefano, come stai?
She's Greek.
Come on and do the Twitch show.
Oh my God. So Michelle, she's so close. Like, she's also my best friend though, too. Like, um,
Hmm.
I want to say I'm really lucky about mentors just because I know that some folks like kind of don't have a person that they identify as a mentor, but
Mm-hmm.
like maybe it's just kind of how I rely on people, or maybe it's I just really value the time that I have with the mentors that I consider in my life. And yeah, so I like found out about the field of folklore, working as a public folklorist or a state folklorist. Back when I was in college, I went to UMBC, University of Maryland, Baltimore County, go Big Dogs.
Go big dogs.
Dom.
Big dogs.
And
Big dogs, post in the chat
And
if you're out there.
at the time, I mean, it's like this, like, it's a state school that is known for its STEM, degrees, and I was there for American Studies and loved it. And it was a small program, but with wonderful professors. And so, like, I feel like from there, that's really where it kind of, I solidified these like relationships with my professors. It felt like grad school. They had that much care and attention to the students. And so I met Michelle there. And she was also working at Maryland Traditions at the time, which is I'm based at the Arts Council, based in Baltimore. And I interned with them for a couple years, and like that's also where Cliff Murphy was working at the time. So he was the director of the program. And Michelle had this interesting position where she was working as a folklorist for Maryland Traditions, but she was also a professor in the American Studies department at UMBC. So it was just really lucky, right? Like that I found myself in this, space where these awesome people were currently doing really cool work and figuring out their own careers.
Yeah. Sometimes just get lucky like that.
Yeah. So now Cliff is, he's at the NEA, the director of the Folk and Traditional Arts program there. Michelle is now working at the American Folklife Center, the Library of Congress. And so, it's just like people kind of move around, and I feel like that's kind of what I love a lot about this field, is that my colleagues who are doing similar work across the country, like we're not coworkers, we're not working in the same agency, but we still, I feel like I am working alongside you, Dom. I'm working alongside Maria Zarang. I'm working, you know what I mean? Like I'm working alongside these people who are longtime colleagues.
Stark says we are family in the chat.
Yes.
Thanks, Kathleen.
Well, that's what's,
no, it's true.
I think that's what like keeps me in it too, is like, this is like kind of peer-to-peer mentorship even, right? Like, so yeah. And of course, John Kay was a huge mentor, and he's a huge mentor to a lot of public folklorists, like I said, too. So, and yeah.
You said, I will point out, you said that you are lucky to have worked alongside these mentors, and like, that might be true, but also you saw the opportunity and went with it. Like some people don't know, or they don't see, or they don't understand the importance of working with mentors or the people around them. And so like not only were you coincidentally around really cool people, but you were also the kind of person to see the value of mentorship and just like take it and run with it and kind of like watch people. So I don't want that to go like undersold here about it's a two-way kind of relationship with being a mentor and a mentee. I think that you just really just went right into and you made me think about like I tell people I'm kind of comfortable moving to any place because folklorists are a national network, and every state pretty much has a folklorist or some kind of traditional arts person or somebody that I already have that value system or that kinship built through a kind of identity as a culture ambassador, worker, arts person, whatever you want to describe it as. And like I think you're hitting something that also rings true for me, where it's like you can have mentors all over the place because you have a network all over the place because you're folklorist and it's cool. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That's awesome.
I mean, that's the best part. And then you hang out with them at the American Folklore Society or the or other varieties of conferences.
Yeah, you get to hang out at conferences, and it's like the time you always know that they're going to be there,
Yeah.
and you get to connect in a personal and professional way, and it's so cool. Yeah.
I'd like to say it's nerd summer camp.
It's nerd summer camp. Yeah, exactly. All right, I got another serious question for you, and then we have some funsy questions that are kind of silly.
Oh yeah.
So
Ooh, okay.
you are known among IU grad students, I don't know if you know this, as an example of somebody with an admirable work-life balance. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah,
it's true. It's true. It's true. I've been told by many people. It's not
I wasn't even the person who brought this up.
Dom wasn't even the person who brought this up.
The sleuths said that.
Did.
Who said that?
Well, the sleuths. We'll tell you.
Are you
later.
allowed to know your sleuth? What?
We'll tell you later. How do you make sure that you have time for your artistic pursuits and hobbies?
Oh, what?
Well, maybe it's relatable though.
Well,
if you're like,
yeah.
if you're like, how do people look to me like that? And everyone is like Jennie is the best at this.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? If you think you're like, we're telling you you're a role model. You know, if you believe it or not. Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe you don't feel it because it's like the weight of it all, and like when you're so in it, it's hard to see from the outside. But multiple people from the outside were like, "Oh yeah, Jennie's good at that."
And he's good at managing time. Yeah.
So I guess we tailored this question specifically to be about like, how do you prioritize any kind of artistic pursuits or hobbies that you have, like playing music with people? Like, how do you in your life work that in and kind of save space for it while everything else is kind of piling up or becoming work or anything else around you?
I need a minute because
okay, yeah, you're like, what? Do people think this?
Man, well, listen, I have a lot of anxiety.
Well, most grad students do.
I know, and
Yeah.
so I don't want anyone to think that like I've figured it out. Like it's, I think that. Oh man.
Jennie, think about it. You don't have to figure something out to be good at it. You know what I mean? Just
That's a good point.
Yeah,
That's
like I'm
a good
not
point.
sure. I would not
Yeah.
say that the kind of admiration came from you knowing exactly what to do, but rather something you're doing.
Picking your battles wisely.
Yeah, exactly. Or like something you're doing is like something that other people would like to do in their own lives, or are seeing a kind of balance or something that's working in a way that seemed admirable to other people who feel like they're drowning as well in the kind of work of our current life situation, global time.
Yeah. Well, for me, the music thing, if I don't have a group to play with, it doesn't happen as easily. So that's true. I mean, and so when you have a bunch of people who are like, let's play on this particular night of the week, then you just know that that's what you're going to do that night, you know, and kind of plan everything else around it.
You just commit to it. Yeah.
Yeah, so that does help, kind of having a community of people, a creative community of people who want to do something together. Ooh, I make a lot of to-do lists. I journal.
Ooh.
That's good.
Sometimes they're one and the same. Journal is just a bunch of to-do lists.
It do be like that.
Yeah,
it do be like that sometimes.
It was way too late in my life till I realized that you could literally put whatever you want in a journal. I was under the impression for so long that a journal had to be like, "Dear diary, I feel like this," and like you put the date on it and you sign
sometimes
it.
It is that. Sometimes I do write.
And sometimes it's like that, and sometimes I write like that too. But it's also like doodles and class notes and like ideas, and they don't go in chronological page order sometimes, or whatever it is. Like, it doesn't have to look a certain way.
Right.
Yeah, it took me way too long to think that.
for mental health's sake, journaling is cheap therapy, but also therapy is great as well.
Yeah. Yeah.
So a little of both. Man, I got really into crocheting recently, and it's just been something that's also therapeutic. It's something that you can watch a movie while doing,
like,
or
it's like you can do something with your hands at the same time. You can kind of like put some energy into a thing that you know how to finish or whatever. You have an idea. Yeah, absolutely.
I'm gonna let everyone in on a little secret here. That's video games for me. 100%.
I thought you were gonna say.
Yeah.
Oh, it totally is. Not
But also, like once I learned how to.
I thought you were gonna say painting Gundams.
Well, the Gundams is very like I have to think very hard and like very precise little hand movements. But I mean, with video games, once it became like this is like I can do anything and also be like pressing A over and over again. That's therapeutic. And then when I learned I could have conversations with people as I played them, I'm like, okay, wait a minute.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Well, I think that's what's so cool about your show, though, is you guys are both like students and working professionals and have really busy lives, but you still have time for this very creative, fun thing that you do together with all your friends.
Thank you, Jenny.
Thank you, Jenny.
You also figured it out.
Game recognized game.
And also are probably, well, at least on my end, are also equally insecure about thinking that they actually figured it out. But I will say, like, I like to notice patterns in the ways that people answer these kinds of questions. And you made a really good point that I don't know if it like got fully, I don't know. It inspired a thought in me that was like, oh, this is what the thing is. But you mentioned having a community and having a day of the week that you do something and meet. Like having a protected time for something that is unrelated to your work day.
Yeah.
And like making that a thing. This is advice that Dom has given me. This is advice I would give other people. But like you're doing the pattern of the thing. And it's cool to hear you be like, well, I have a music community that like I meet up with, and that's really important to me and my mental health, so I just keep going. Like, people need to hear that is a
I brought up
worthy
trivia
thing.
earlier.
Yeah, trivia, karaoke,
oh boy.
a knitting group, anything that's like that, or going to a concert of your friend.
I was
like,
gonna say, hanging out with the same 20 people in costume 3 times a year.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't know if Daisy and I know anything about that.
Exactly.
When we first moved here and we didn't have any of that stuff, well, it's actually, can I tell a really quick funny story?
Yeah.
Okay. One of the first social things we did, my partner joined a ultimate frisbee league in Charleston.
Yeah.
And but the funny story that goes with this is like when I got this job and I was like, okay, or even hey, it's looking like I'm about to get this job. Like, would you like to move with me to West Virginia from Indiana? That's where we were living before. All she had to do, sorry, Mish, if you're listening. All she had to do was go on Facebook and search for whether or not there was an ultimate frisbee league here. And she found it. Like,
low maintenance.
Yes, love that.
She's like, I'm all set.
She's like, okay, well, I know the people. We'll get to know them. It'll take a minute.
Yeah, and so that's kind of our first. That was our first lifeline to a social life was her playing on this. I don't do it. I'm afraid of injuries. And so
that's a reasonable fear.
I would just go and sit on the sideline and crochet.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, absolutely. So, finding a community outside of work. It could be related to, but that's a good. Yeah, that's a cool point that you echoed in your answer. I do have a little note here to, speaking of the artistic pursuits and hobbies that you have in your life, we ran an ad during break for your partner
and
Misha's
a certain
art.
ultimate frisbee player. Yeah,
and a certain ultimate frisbee player. We ran an ad for Misha's art. Do you want a moment to tell us about Misha's really cool art that's available on Etsy for you all to buy, and that Starps apparently has in her home? She was talking about it earlier.
Oh my god, I would love to talk about this.
Yeah, we've got links. We're dropping links. People, we're
dropping links.
We're dropping
I
links.
can hear her laughing over. Made by Mish.
Yeah.
Made by Mish.
At symbol made by Mish, MEISH. On Instagram mostly. She has also got a Facebook and an Etsy page, but Instagram is the cooler page.
Hell yeah.
And Mish is a painter, She paints mostly with acrylics that are watered down and look really bright and vibrant and cute and adorable. She loves painting like animals and wilderness and nature stuff. And she's also gotten into relief carving, like relief prints, right? Where you like
That's
carve
awesome.
a linoleum block and make a little print out of it. She's done a ton of those. And she does limestone carving, which is cool.
Let's go,
know.
Indiana. Let's go, Indiana.
Did
That's
you
super
know
cool.
that you could just drive into a quarry in Indiana? Some quarries, probably not all of them, but you just go in and penny per pound is all they ask for if you
Really?
want. Yeah. And so she brings little scraps, and then
That's
uses
cool.
a Dremel tool and carves into them. So
That is so cool.
That's
isn't
cool.
she so cool?
What the heck? Like, wow, that's really
Wow,
freaking
people
cool.
in chat are like, I can tell that they are looking at the shop and talking about their favorite pieces.
Benton's dream being like a
She's
snail,
also
snail
she's
mail
a
truck.
forager
greeting-
too. She's a forager
Oh,
and loves
hell yeah.
hiking. Yeah.
Yes.
So fun person to go on hikes with.
We love to see this.
Yeah.
We love a queer artist on this show. Anytime we're like, yes, please.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Oh, also she does greeting cards. That was kind of her like entree into all this was, and
I like that.
she sells a lot of her art at different stores throughout the state, including Indiana as well. But like, we've done a lot of vending together recently, which has been a fun experience.
Nice.
Thanks for all the bits, everyone. Thank you for all the bits.
Thanks everybody for bits. That's awesome. Yeah, Ben's dream said snail mail truck greeting card. Genius.
Oh, it's cute. It's cute. This is her
love it.
Mothman,
Mothman.
Mothman,
Drinking a
pineapple, snackaroo.
pina colada kind of thing. Yeah.
Very
Love
good.
it.
Yeah.
That's awesome. All right, are you ready to get into some funsy questions?
Yeah, those were also fun questions.
Those were also
So-
fun questions. These are just like
Those
shorter.
were great questions, guys.
Aw.
Thanks so much.
Thank you,
Thank you,
Sleuth.
sleuths. Thank you, sleuths.
Thank you. Yeah, thank you,
Thanks,
Sleuth.
Sleuth.
All right, can we say it? Thank you to your sleuths, Caitlin and Caroline.
Yeah, literally.
Cool, thanks.
Dom, I think you should ask
I ask
this
the first one and the last one?
You
Yeah.
got to. Yeah, I think
Okay.
those are the best.
So we've met your good boy Bergie. I don't know how many other names he's got. List them off.
Boy.
we'd love to
he's
know
got
if he's got more.
Burger
We'd love
Boy,
to know. But
Bug.
bug, that's good.
not Monty. Didn't stick.
Not
stick.
ever.
Can you tell us about the other dog in your life, True Grit, the University of Maryland Baltimore County mascot?
What do you want to know? He's a good boy too.
He's also a good boy.
We just
boy.
want to talk
We
about
did-
the good boys.
We did need to know whether or not True Grit was also a good boy.
True Grit is the mascot of the Chesapeake Bay Retriever of UMBC.
Chesapeake
They
Bay
got-
Retriever.
They got curly hairs.
Specifically.
Oh, that's
Right.
very good.
They got curly hair. It's like
Yeah.
a Labrador with curly hair.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. They have like a I guess brass statue of him at the front of the campus as you enter, and you
Love
can
it.
rub his little nose just like you do with the terrapin at
Aw.
I was gonna say with Mothman's
University of
butt.
Maryland.
Yeah.
Yeah, or just like with
Mothman's
Mothman's butt. Yeah.
For good luck.
Good luck.
Yeah. The only reason that people would know what UMBC is as a school is because of that March Madness season where they ruined everybody's whatever you call them.
Bracket.
The bracket.
yeah.
Yeah, the only 16 to beat a 1 in history.
Oh, jeez.
Oh hell yeah.
Yeah, that was very exciting. I don't care for many sports, but I remember the night that happened. I was like in Detroit with some friends, and I was like, "Hey guys, I know none of you care about this, but can we turn on the TV and watch this
Watch
game?
this.
Like, this is kind of a big deal, like
Kind of a thing.
to my alumni circles." And then we watched, and UMBC beat University of Virginia, I think it was, right? Like the first
Wow.
seed team. Yeah, and it was like watching a bunch of, little Chesapeake Bay Retrievers running around giants and beating them.
Wow. That's cool.
Yeah, so that's like the only reason that most people would know what that school is.
Nice. All right,
But yeah, it was a great school. Such a good school.
I got a next question for you.
Okay, let's go.
Speaking of sports, what's the zaniest night that you had at the Charleston Dirty Birds game?
Oh my god.
And I also
Yay.
want to add
Yeah.
that we found a picture of you at the game on Instagram, and I sent this to Tom and was like, zoom in, can you figure out who that is? Figured it out by zooming in on. Yeah, it was pretty good. It was pretty epic.
Oh, so it wasn't like my picture, it was someone else.
No, it was your picture that you posted on Instagram, but it did not, there was no explanation of like who or what, so we were like, okay, context clues. How can we figure out what team that is?
Dom did sports forensics.
Yeah, Dom did sports forensics on here.
Like that guy on TikTok who figures out what game is on the background in a movie.
Yeah, or like what height people are based on.
Yeah, or like what height people are. Yeah, I'm like that for sports parks.
For sports parks.
Well, so, you know, when we first moved here, we moved here in January, like of last year exactly, and it took us some time to like get our feet under, you know, and figure out what is this, you know, what's going on in this town, like what cool things can we, you know, get involved in, or what will be our main haunts, you know, whatever. And at the time also Omicron was like raging, so we just didn't do anything for a couple months. We just focused on, you know, Mish focused on her art, I focused on my brand new job, and we weren't very social for a while, and then when it started getting warmer out, you know, like we like the minor league team in your town, that is something Bloomington is missing, is a minor league baseball team.
Oh my god, Bloomington,
because
I mean,
such good fans for that.
and it's like their college basketball is a little too expensive to go to all the time.
No, this is like a $9, $12 ticket. Like it's so cheap. You get a tall boy for like $2. Like
amazing.
It's very, very cheap, fun, and you can basically sit wherever you want because you'll never have a sold out night. Doesn't really matter. We tend to sit in the like third base area, which is very danger zone. Because with minor league baseball, they will hit some pretty nasty foul balls. You have to be alert. So yeah, we had some good times there. I have one funny story of a Dirty Birds game that we went to.
Tell us.
So I have this like sometimes I wear a like camo hat, like a hunting camo, like baseball cap. I am a vegetarian, if you haven't figured that out yet in this conversation. And so it's deeply ironic that I would wear this hat. I know. It's
cultural. It's cultural, yeah.
It's beyond, it is beyond the intended purpose.
Yeah, I bought it in Bloomington. So, you know, it's fine. Anyway, so I wear it sometimes, and I wore it to this game, and Misha and I were sitting next to a bunch of guys who, like, you know, clearly like have come to these games frequently, and you know, we're talking about each of the players and whatever, and I kind of struck up a conversation with them and asked them about like the team name and like the history of this baseball team, because they like just knew, like, this team has been like rebranded a lot over the years. They've been like a bunch of different names. Like the Dirty Birds is kind of like a recent name for them. They used to be called the Charlies and the Power, because it's Appalachian Power
Park. That's how I figured it out, Jenny.
That was how.
Anyway, so we're like sitting there, and like I'm asking them those kinds of questions at first, and then he like, and you know, we're all drinking our beers, and he's wearing this like cowboy hat that has like labels of like Bud Light or whatever all over it. And anyway, he like looks at me and he's like, "Do you hunt?" Because I'm wearing that hat. And I'm like, "Do you drink?" Yeah.
I'm like, interesting. Funny. Oh my gosh. Sometimes.
Gotcha.
I'm glad that you had a good comeback, because usually I don't think of those until like way later.
I know. I was really impressed with myself.
That was good.
Because you guys know I'm not good at sarcasm, so no.
All right, I got another question we got 2 more questions for you, and then we're gonna play a game. What is one or some of your New Year's resolutions, if you have any at all? If you don't believe in it, why?
I think normally I don't believe in it because New Year's is such an overrated holiday.
But this year's different.
This year's different, I guess. This is a fun New Year's activity.
Yes.
Let's see. We did have fun though on New Year's Eve, I want to say. We did have a good time. We went to this town called Princeton, West Virginia.
Oh, nice.
They have a really nice like artist collective there that Misha's a part of, and so we went and enjoyed their like town-wide New Year's Eve party. They even have a ball drop there, which is really kind of interesting.
Cool.
Yeah.
What the heck?
Yeah.
That's cool.
I know.
Sounds really fun.
Anyway, so we talked about this. Well, what did we talk about, Misha? If you're there. Okay, a resolution this year would be,
or even like something you're
stop laughing at me.
Or even like something you're looking forward to doing in 2023 that you didn't do in 2022. That could also be something too.
Yeah. Yeah. I would like to. You guys told me earlier that I'm really good at the work-life balance, but that's probably what I was gonna say. I'd like to be better.
Oh, damn, you're gonna keep leveling up. I respect that.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. I was gonna say it's not like you're level 100 yet. You could be like level 80 and be like pretty good, but not, yeah.
And I bet work-life balance is not a video game. There isn't a level cap.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Yeah, I know, you can just keep getting better. Well, I would like to sit with what I've learned in this past year of living in a totally new place with meeting new people. I'd like to sit with that for a little while and recognize just how much I've accomplished, even though I still say, like, I still feel new. And my one coworker told me, he said that according to his dad, that like if you hire a new employee, don't expect them to be like at their peak functioning until after at least a year and a half. And so
I think
that feels good.
Totally
right?
True. I think that's totally true. Dom,
So
I don't know what your experience has been like with that, but
I think, a year and a half into my job is going to be in my second Florida Folk Festival, so let's hope I'm at peak function. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think you got to just like you got to learn the ropes and learn the language and learn the relationships and all the stuff that they don't just like make a script for you to learn. Nobody thinks of making a manual to tell you about what pre-existing relationships were like, which folklorists kind of like are thinking about already, or at least like primed to think like, okay, who's in network with who and how does a community, like who's connected to who and in what ways. Like people are you kind of have to like sit and absorb that for a while before you really get it.
Yeah.
Which is why
it just takes time to get to know people and get to know places and Anyway, go ahead, sorry.
No, you're totally right, and you're feeding into my argument for why grant projects should be funded minimum for 5 years instead of usually 2 like they are. Anyway, you have to really know the community. You got to get funded to like actually learn about people. I feel like everything is so like fast. It's like you gotta know. You do your best work the longer you're in the game. Right. People need to support that. Yeah, totally. All right, Dom, you want to ask the last country, and then we're gonna play a game.
The last country, huh?
Sorry.
Wow, you gave it away, Days. We already talked about Jennie, how you are. You were a member of the award-winning all-female country group, Ruth and the Stones.
Sorry.
What award did we win?
You won an award in my heart, and you won the award of the residency of the bishop's residency award.
That was very fun.
Yeah, that was so great. Well, I was going to ask 2 questions about your all-girl country group. Number 1, what was your favorite Ruth and the Stones moment? And number 2, what's your favorite Ruth and the Stones cover? The cover song that you performed.
Man, those were good times.
They really were. It was like, how often did you play? Like every other week at the Bishop?
No, it was once a month.
It was once a month. It
literally like, just a semester.
It felt like all the time, Jennie. It was a to-do to be there. Yeah.
Yeah. So I want to give credit really quick. The for like
Yes.
we had kind of like two iterations of the band,
Sure.
and so the band was me, Kate Mullen, Kelly Bosworth, and in the first iteration, Alia Ajamoli and Ada Hetko, and then the two of them ended up moving, and Michael Ling joined the band, and so
Hell yeah.
yeah, and so we just like played our favorite like lady country songs, usually like an Emmylou Harris or a Dolly Parton or a Patsy Cline or something like that. And then we really just enjoyed throwing harmonies as best we could arrange. And
Throwing harmonies. Throwing those harmonies. Oh, chef's kiss.
Toss
That's
them
how it felt.
right down the
Well,
stage.
You know, like when we would rehearse a song, I remember like it would usually be whoever brought the song, and if it clicked with the group, you know, if people really liked it, then we would keep it. And that person usually would lead it, you know, kind of like lead either the verses or the melody line or whatever. And then it always would be like, you know, in that setting of like figuring out the arrangement, whoever got to the harmony first usually could keep it.
Yeah.
And so like we would try to arrange with a 4-part harmony, which is hard for that fourth person who didn't get it their first time. And so that fourth person would normally have to either like sing really high or like get that bass note or whatever.
Right.
But you know, like we would adjust and, you know, try to make sure each song fit our voices best while taking turns, right? Anyway, okay. But all that to say is harmonies was really important. And yeah, we had a lot of fun. Best Ruth in the Stone moment was probably performing at Dr. Ruth Stone's retirement party.
Aww,
it was
awesome.
a joined party. Dr. Melanie Burnham was also retiring at the time, and so we were invited to come and perform some songs for them. And I remember I would lead the song "These Boots Are Made for Walking," which was really fun.
That's fun. That's super fun.
And so we sang that at that party, and that was it was very fun and very silly, and everyone had a good time. So I really enjoyed that song, doing that one. Biscuits was a big hit.
49 and a ham and meat.
It's a song. I think Coon Creek Girls was the band that we got it from, its old band. And the song is How Many Biscuits Can You Eat? And when you hear it once, you request it forever. And it became kind of so there's this bar called the Bishop. That's where we had a residency. We played there once a month for a semester. And it was always really fun. And we ended up like, we would always play How Many Biscuits Can You Eat, usually as like a finale or something, or like at least we would always play it because it was very crowd interactive.
That was the finale.
And like the people that came to the shows most often, I remember we would call them our biscuits.
Aw, I love that. Yes. Yes.
Yeah. So that was I can't ignore the Biscuit song. That one was.
That's great.
Mm-hmm.
And can I also? There's a chat question from Yo Starps. Can I ask that while you get the game ready, Daisy?
Surely.
Yeah. Hey, Yo Starps in chat wants to know: are there any other Jennifer, Jennies who are musicians that you also admire?
That's a very on the spot question.
Thank you, chat. Thank you, voting members of the
Yes.
Achatemy.
Like Starps.
Yeah, thank you, chat. Thank you. What's her name? Jennie. She's in Rilo Kiley. I like that singer. Right?
I thought this whole time Rilo Kiley was a person's name. You were dropping knowledge on me.
I think her name is Jennie.
I have become out of my element at this point.
Yeah. Somebody look it up, thanks. Sorry.
I'm on it.
I could also be wrong, but I don't think I am. I'm gonna think of a bunch of singers later. Jennie from the Block, of course.
Oh,
Yes.
Jennifer Lopez.
Yeah.
Jennie Lewis,
Jennie-
Starp says.
Jennie Lewis.
Jennie
Jennie
Lewis.
Lewis. Okay, so I want to say
Flora
this.
says Waylon Jennies.
I wanna
Okay.
say this right now, okay?
Mhm.
I don't wanna put her on blast, but I have to at this point. Um,
What?
Maria Zarang has been watching and texting me.
What,
She
Maria?
just
I
texted.
love her.
She just texted me. It's
Why
it's
are you in
Rilo
chat?
Kiley. She just texted me Rilo Kiley as you said that. So
Yes.
That's
sorry,
awesome.
Maria. I'm sorry, Maria. But yeah,
That's
she's
awesome.
been live texting me the whole time.
Maria,
I
get
love
in
you.
chat.
You know this. You know this.
Amazing vibes.
That's right, but
Well,
Maria.
in that case, that concludes our core element of the interview. We're gonna switch to a game here now. I think I should explain the game, and Dom should conduct the game. I think it makes more sense because I'm a little out of my element, and Dom is gonna be better at making the references. Dom, what do you think?
Cool.
we
Wait,
can
can I-
we can trade
real
off or
quick.
something.
If there's anyone out there who can refill my glass of champagne, I would be so appreciative.
Oh my God!
There's
Send
anybody.
send Jenny
Send help.
champagne. Send people, please send it with the dog. Get Bergie out there. I know Bergie's sleeping, but just do a little whistle and wake that. I don't know, herding dog up.
Kathleen is on her
Kathleen's
way.
on her way.
Oh, Benton's Dream works in a wine store. She can get you, baby. That's what she says.
Oh,
Yeah.
thank
Get it
you
at
all.
cost. She can
Thank
get it at
you.
cost.
Yeah.
I'll wait patiently.
Yes. Okay. Are you ready to play a game that we invented for you?
You
Jenny.
invented a game.
Oh yes, Jenny. You know
Kind
we love to do a tier list, but sometimes we
Okay.
get over 20 things. Sometimes
on,
we get
someone's
lots and
here.
lots of. Wait, is someone here to
Wait
get
a
wine?
second. What?
Oh wow! Wait, wine is happening.
Thank
What?
you. Thank you so much.
Oh wow! Oh, and a poncho too. That's
Isn't
incredible.
Isn't she great? This is
She's
me,
great.
everyone.
Hi,
Hi,
Mish.
Mish. Incredible.
Oh, that's a heavy. That's okay. Thank you so much.
That's okay,
Okay.
thanks. Incredible. Amazing. Champagne
Jenny-
master.
Left as well. Okay.
Jenny,
bye, Bergie.
we love a tier list.
I love
But
it.
normally we do a tier list when we have 9, 10, or 11 ideas for something, and sometimes we get 20 or more and decide it has to be this or that. And we could not narrow it down for you, so instead we are giving you the much less admirable job of picking this or that.
Oh,
Are you
Jelly
ready to get started?
Williams.
Jelly
Where
Jelly
did that
Williams.
name come from?
Jennie Williams.
I think when I was
Mhm.
teaching world music and culture with you, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I don't even know why.
because it's
okay,
Jenny.
we'll
It's just,
figure it out.
it's just Jenny Williams,
It's
but
just
mixed up.
Jennie Williams was silly
Okay.
and on the internet.
I'm focusing on the wrong thing right now. Let's start this game.
Oh my gosh. All right. Are you ready to choose this or that? All right.
All right.
First up, Dom, are
Let's-
you ready for this?
Do it, Daisy. First up, this or that.
No.
Patsy Cline or Loretta Lynn?
Stop it.
You
First of all-
must choose this or that.
Well, like, first of all, R.I.P. Loretta.
R.I.P. Loretta, the
All right,
legend.
I know we
You
had
know,
to.
last
we had
time
to
when-
include her
yeah,
so we could talk about her.
We did shots the night Loretta died on the show.
Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
What a powerful musician. Benton's
know.
Dream says Patsy. Death Laura says cannot choose samesies.
It's very hard to choose.
Ugh.
I've really gotten into Blue Kentucky Girl. Loretta Lynn sings that
Oh,
one.
yeah.
But I also was really into She's Got You, that song that Patsy Cline would sing. That's what I did with Ruth and the Stones all the time. So for that reason, because I'm feeling nostalgic, Patsy Cline. Oh, it hurts. Oh, it hurts.
Patsy
Oh, it
Cline.
hurts.
All right, Patsy Cline. All right, next.
No!
we paired them all off.
Just picture like me and Caroline writing this, just being like, "Oh, that one's good."
Oh, that would be good. Yeah, paired together, that's good. Benton's Dream is cracking up in the chat.
Are you... Wait, which Caroline are we talking about? Was it Miller?
Miller.
Yeah.
Oh, hey, Caroline. Fuck. God damn it.
I'm sorry to make you choose. There were so many. This is, I know, Death Loris points out we did evil work. This is evil.
It's so
James
mean,
James
because-
Dalton Bell also says if it's not a hard choice, it's not a fun game, which I do agree with. We love a spicy, hot, a very opinionated take, and we know we put challenging folks against each other.
I think. Oh, I can't.
Absolutely no
Alison
way.
Krauss.
Alison
Okay,
Krauss.
all
Let's
right.
go.
Right now, Alison Krauss. Maybe tomorrow, Gillian Welch tomorrow. But
This is kind
Today,
of like the
just for
leather.
today.
This is kind of the leather pants round.
Yeah, just for today.
oh well, they're not the Dixie Chicks anymore.
Yeah, the chicks. We
Well,
did discuss this.
We did
Tanya
say that, and
Tucker
Caroline
versus
Miller
Chicks.
said, and Caroline Miller said, "Oh, don't be those people." She said, "It's
Oh,
George
no.
W. Bush's. It's George W. Bush's fault."
Yeah.
Do you remember ever listening to the country station in Bloomington, Dom?
Every now and then in the car.
Okay, good. Well, they would always do like in between songs. You know how sometimes like the DJ might record like a famous person recording like an introduction and
Yeah.
then like playing it forever because they have their voice. There was always one that's like, "This is Tanya Tucker."
Oh yeah.
It's like I loved it. And for that reason, Tanya Tucker.
Hey, Tucker.
Nice. Miranda Lambert, Casey Musgraves.
Casey Musgraves.
Oh,
Ooh.
and yet you never picked merry-go-round when I put it in the suggestion box at Ruth and the Stones, which I did for a whole semester, Jenny.
Yeah, that was.
We took any suggestion ever.
I
Honestly.
just wanted to hear y'all harmonize on merry-go-round.
I'm sorry.
That is
It's because
specifically why she made it in this too.
I did a Casey Musgraves song. I didn't sing it, but a friend of mine sang it in Bloomington. So something I didn't talk about before I moved here, and they still have it in Bloomington. They have a Honky Tonk Tuesday, which is
That's
a
right.
blast. It's
Honky Tonk
so
Tuesday.
much fun, and like it's every musician who's really a townie in Bloomington at this point. And like they're all doing different projects, they're all in different bands, they're all recording or touring or whatever. But they come together on Tuesday nights and play cover songs of like whatever song they want, really, like in the vaguely country genre. Anyway, there was one night where I like played the song for my friend to sing, and it was a Casey Musgraves song. Which one? I don't remember the title of it though. I'll find it later. But anyway, I just enjoyed that so much. So that's why Casey Musgraves. That's my reason.
Fair enough.
Go, Casey.
Up next.
Yeah.
Mary Jane Seminary, Lucinda Williams. Oh, Lucinda. Okay, that
Oh,
was
Lucinda. Okay, that was
No.
your
Easy
fastest
choice.
one yet.
That was the fastest
It
one.
was-
yet.
I thought the other one was faster, but at
Maybe.
least
It
I
was
left
close.
time for a sigh here.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah.
I just really love Lucinda's music and play some of it, so
Oh,
it
yeah.
Hell yeah.
feels good to me.
Also,
Yeah.
an
Sorry,
iconic look. I just
Mhm.
love the energy exuding from this entire outfit.
Oh, yeah. She's the coolest.
This is the one where
shit.
this is the one where we cackled.
Yeah, we're like, oh my god.
That's mean.
Yep.
No.
But it's also this is like exactly your taste in music.
I know.
Rhiannon Giddens or Brandy Carlisle.
They just are both so important.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And they're both doing really good things these days. And
Starps is crying.
I don't want to make the wrong decision here, but I don't think by choosing one of them I make a wrong decision.
There's
I
no,
think that
yeah,
they're
there's
both
no
good
right or
things.
wrong
not
here.
like
They're all
it's
very
not like
good.
when you choose
It's-
this, that dies or something.
Yeah, it's not like that.
Oh my god, I know, right? Okay.
Chat has made up their mind. I
Yeah,
don't know if you're
chat-
reading chat,
chat
but chat has
agrees.
made up their
I
mind.
can't see chat at
Good.
all.
Okay.
Okay.
Good.
Okay. Good.
I have a choice. I've made it.
Yes.
And it comes with a story. So Rhiannon Giddens, because she performed in Bloomington. I mean, she's performed there more than once, but I'm pretty sure. But I went to her show once.
Oh, that's cool.
I went. It was at the Buskirk Chumley Theater in Bloomington.
The bus chum.
Yeah, and afterwards she was signing autographs, and this might have been my first or second year in the program, right? Probably first year. And Kate Mullen was with me, and when we went up to get her autograph, I like did not know what to say, and I was like, "Oh, we're musicologists."
We study music. You're so good.
And Rihanna was like, "Fighting the good fight," and like signed our CDs.
Really
and
cool.
That was it.
That's
And we
really,
took
that's
out.
really
We also
fucking cool.
we took a photo with her, and the photo was the most awkward photo ever.
You're like sweating.
She's like
double
sitting
thumbs
at the
up.
table, and we are like this distance away from her.
Oh my god.
Send that to Daisy or Caitlin, and we'll post it on the Folklorist story.
I will totally post it.
find
That
it.
sounds amazing.
So for that reason, Rihanna Giddens.
Well, that is also what the chat agreed. So
Oh, good. Good.
you-
Okay,
they all
good.
they all were there. Up next, Dolly or Reba.
This is so mean. Damn it.
We knew it would be hard. We knew it would be hard.
I mean, Dolly. It's gotta be Dolly. I'm sorry, Reba. Reba just came to Charleston, and I couldn't go because we had a board meeting. Can you believe?
Oh,
What? You're like, of all the
I know.
reasons. Thank you. Jeez.
I think that was the reason. There was a reason. It was definitely board meeting. Anyway,
yeah.
whatever.
Oh,
Dolly.
they look so cute
Sorry.
in both of these pictures. I love them.
I love that.
I love them in both of these. That's so good. All right, Shania Twain or Faith Hill.
The music video round. Oh,
Yeah,
Shania?
Shania.
Mhm.
Yeah, this is a good music video round. Ben Strip says this is torture.
Yeah. This is fun.
Wow,
I like
okay.
this better than a tier list.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah, see, you don't have to rank them. You just choose your gut feeling in this moment. Right now, it could be different tomorrow, but right now, today, it's this. All right.
this is the hardest
one.
This is the
Oh my God.
hardest
This is the
one.
hardest one.
June
Pick a Carter. Pick a
California.
Carter.
Yeah.
Pick a Carter. Any Carter.
Mother Maybell, guys.
Oh, that's
I-
pretty good.
Let the record show that I brought that up. I brought
Yep.
that up in the
Yep.
sleeping meeting.
Yes, that did come up, and
Mm-hmm.
we were going to make you choose here, but you have outsmarted us in making this tier list.
Okay, way to lump me into us.
Dom. Wow.
Chat is saying June.
Yeah.
Chat is saying June.
I mean, probably June, just because I don't know the other two very well.
Oh,
sorry.
okay.
But like Mother Maybell, that was my
Yeah.
actual choice.
Oh my
All right.
gosh.
And you ready for the last one, Daisy?
Oh.
Final round. Jennie Williams Championship. All about Rita, Emily Lou Harris.
They're not comparable.
Well, only because they're like the two artists I associate with Jennie.
Aww.
Yeah. This is the championship round.
The championship round.
Wow, Benton's dream.
Oh.
Fast fingers on this one.
Chat,
Wait,
chat
what is the chat saying?
Oh,
No,
chat
we
made up their
cannot-
mind immediately, but
chat-
we can't tell you.
Why not?
We can't tell you.
They're so different. The other ones were all comparable. These two are very different.
That's true. That's true. Ben Dream does make the point, does echo your point that they are very different. That's how I will say that comment.
Yeah. They're just different and special.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I love to play the song I've Endured by Ola Belle Reed all the
Oh,
time.
long have I endured.
I know. I still play that song with people just because it's a fun tune to play. With Emmylou, oh god, every song.
Every single goddamn song.
Like-
How dare us?
I really enjoy her Graham Parsons duets.
Oh, yeah.
Hickory Wind and Catch on the Barrelhead. And, like, these fun songs like that. I can't pick, sorry. They're so different. Yeah. How about Ola Lou Reed?
Oh, Lou Reed? Oh, wow. I didn't know he was on this list.
Or Emmy Bell Harris.
That's good.
Jenny
That's good.
Belritas, yeah.
I love that.
Read us.
I think that's allowed.
Okay, great. Good.
I think for the challenge round, that's fair considering these are like two that stand among or above the rest. Excuse me. I think that's fair. Dom, what do you say?
I think she did it. I think
you did it.
I think the only thing I got to say about this is ladders in chat.
Ladders in chat, people.
Ladders in chat.
Jenny, thank you so much for just being a wonderful guest, a ray of light, a wonderful person to celebrate the New Year's on Folkwise with, helping us catch cryptids, showing us Bergamot, talking about everything from the porch to country women. We usually do like a recap of the tier list in some kind of way. I don't know if we can do it for this one. I think you kind of already did it by saying we choose neither. We choose the combination of Ola Bell Reed and Emmylou Harris, which is Emmy Bell Harris.
We've reached Hegelian synthesis on Folkwise.
We've reached Hegelian synthesis. Dom said that for me. Yeah, everybody, you're all doing it. If you haven't done it, ladders in the chat. If you don't have any ladders, a hearty GG's. And that officially ends your interview, Jenny.
Jenny, we kept you over. We kept you
over time. We were having too much fun.
We did? Oh, shit.
Okay.
Oh, I had a great time. This was really fun. And Happy New Year and happy birthday, Folkwise.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you, Jenny.
Yeah.
I got a little left in there.
Cheers. Ding.
Yeah. Cheers. I have none water nor drink left, but I suppose that's a sign of a good time.
Quilts have had me on many levels. Making quilts helped me to get a sense of my own space, sense of finding my way, sense of really working my way out of the labyrinth.